Get ready for your dreams with Lifestyle Mastery, the show that will transform the way you think about personal development, business, and entrepreneurship, and explores the fascinating world of self-improvement with the guidance of the renowned expert, Dr. Sheila Smith. From mastering your mindset to building a successful business, Dr. Smith and her guests will inspire, educate, and empower you to live your best life.
Welcome to Lifestyle Mastery, where it is our goal to push women into their destiny and to their purpose with the information and the people that we are bringing on to the broadcast. Today, I am so super excited. Well, first of all, I am Dr. Sheila Smith, your host, and we have the CEO of Elect Housing Solutions, Remy Jules. I am so excited to have him on because he is going to give you profound information on how to break into housing, real estate, ILFs, and the like. So get ready to hear this amazing information. Grab your paper and your pen. Be ready to write down these jewels, no pun intended, that you are about to hear. So I am bringing up to the stage Remy Jules. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am so excited to have you because when I first heard the information and the jewels that you drop, it has helped me immensely in my own personal life as well as in my business. So I want to welcome you to the platform.
Wow. Thank you so much, Dr. Sheila. And to everyone that's watching, I am Remy Jules. I am the founder and CEO, program manager of Elect Housing Solutions. So grateful to be here. What a blessing and an honor to be on your platform. Thank you so much for having me.
I am so glad to have you as well. So one of the things that I know for myself when I heard you speak was related. I want to start off with, let's say a person, a woman, is getting back out there. Let's say she's either lost her job from COVID, she's either gotten sick, now trying to get back into a place of being able to take care of her family. Let's say that there are issues that she's having because jobs are scarce, even though they're saying that, they're plentiful, but we see in the news there's plenty of layoffs and the like. Yes. So give me some ways of a woman being able to make income for herself and her family?
Absolutely. So it's so funny that you mentioned that because when I got into real estate myself, I was in the same position. I was a new husband. I was a new father. So anybody can do this. One of the myths about real estate is that you have to have money, credit, and so forth. When actuality, you just got to have a willing mind, a willing heart, and just be ready to work hard. And what I mean by that is instead of the poverty mindset of just what you don't have, utilize the skill set of, okay, how can I utilize my experiences to the best of my abilities? And what that actually looks like in practicality is I'm very big on getting involved in your community. And what that looks like is like, won't you join your local chamber of commerce? 9 times out of 10 is free, right? So you can kind of know what businesses are in your area. Join your economic development boards, your planning, your city planning committees, because then you'll know how your area, your municipality is moving forward. What are some of the building plans? What are some of the plans that are going forward regarding just where the city is trying to move forward in a progressive form, and then also where finances are headed. There's always allocated funds that the government disperses out to all these different demographics and to all these. And how can you better serve your community? So I'm really big on getting involved first, and because that way that sets the foundation of knowing who you are. They know who you are. They're familiar with your face. Then you can begin to kind of share a little bit about why you want to get into real estate, if that's something that you want to pursue. With me particularly, it was more about, in my area, I started seeing a lot of families being displaced. There was a lot of issues with homelessness. There was a lot of gentrification that were going on. So people were having to go further rural. And then the people that didn't actually have the money to go further rural, they were actually being kicked out of their homes. So I basically just kind of wanted to start a housing initiative to support that. When I started my housing initiative, the first thing I did was I got involved in my community. See that part there? Yeah. I got involved in my community. The first day I went to my Chamber of Commerce meeting, guess who I met? My mayor was there, and two of my city commissioners were there over both of the zones, the northern zone and the southern zone region. So they were talking about plans of the road, just how they're having so much growth, the 3 to 5 year plan for the city, and things of that nature. And so there was an opportunity for me to ask a question about, well, what about the people that's being displaced currently? What are we doing about that?
Nice.
They had no answers for that. So I told them what I wanted to do, and guess what I had ready? I had my business cards ready, right? And so it's chess, not checkers. And the reason why I say that is because these people, they have all these concerns. It's not the first time I brought it up to them. I'm pretty sure they get calls about it. They hear about it all the time. And they get elected in these particular roles to better serve the needs of the people in the community. Well, what better way for you to get ahead? Somebody that's unemployed, somebody that's really trying to make some money financially by getting into great connection and network with these people that can help you obtain the assets, obtain the funding, develop the network that they have, and get access to a numerous amount of resources. I literally came in with nothing. I was unemployed at the time. And
so you're in Austin?
Yes, ma'am. I'm in Central Texas. Yes. Austin, Texas,
okay.
Capital city.
So what is it that you are planning to do in your area?
Absolutely. So let's backtrack a little bit. So
yes,
I got into, when I was going back to the gentrification and going back into the housing disparity, I started seeing people and friends that I grew up with losing their homes. So it was kind of like, what do you do? How can you be an asset to your community? And so I really wanted to get into real estate, but I didn't know how to get into real estate. Okay. And then I realized, okay, as I'm getting into real estate, I connected with an amazing lady by the name of Miss Erica Jasper. Shout out to my sister, Miss Erica Jasper. Okay. She was already housing people that dealt with mental health. And so she literally told me, she said, Remy, if you can help me get the houses, she said, I got the people. That way, now we're partners. We develop a partnership. I can have access to the funding what comes with it, because she needed assistance with trying to run her business in per se. So she had already had a contract with the MHMR, with basically with Texas Mental Health and Special Needs Services, and she just wanted me to go get the property so that way she can house these individuals, because they literally had people calling her like 24/7 about just placement. So as she allowed us to work together, I got the knowledge, and then I decided to do it myself. And that's basically what I wanted to try to do, not necessarily just mental health, but all aspects. So that can range from homeless, that can range from battered women, that can range from excuse me, I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank here. That can range from kids that age out of foster care, re-entry programs for felons that actually coming back, that are getting released from prison, going back into society, as well as sober living. So these are people that are recovering from drug and alcohol abuse. And so guess what? When these people are being released or going through some type of rehabilitative program, they need housing. They need a support center, because a lot of these shelters are at maximum capacity. So how can we be an asset? And the first thing was money. I'm thinking money, right? Well, the more I got to know these different program managers, when I got involved into the Chamber of Commerce, I started realizing they were willing to give me the funds up front to guarantee placement for their residents, for the clients that they were
Wait,
looking to serve.
wait, that part. We got to talk about that.
Yes.
Okay. So you're saying that someone with no money, no real experience,
Right.
they're willing to hand you money to get this started. Can you really dive into that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So when I went to my Chamber of Commerce meeting and I told them exactly what I was trying to do, they literally pointed me directly to certain organizations that were extremely in dire need of somebody that can kind of be the forefront, that can
Okay.
actually develop the relationships within the community, going to different property owners, property managers, saying, hey, I would love to utilize your property for a means of trying to take care of the needs of the people in these communities. And I'm working with said organizations. So that can be Goodwill, Habitat for Humanity, my particular organization, which is Austin Area Urban League, um, Ending Community Homeless Coalitions, all these different organizations that are grant funded organizations, government funded organizations. Don't you know they need us? The reason why they need us is because they are not real estate experts. They don't know what to do, right? So they know that there's a need for housing, but they don't necessarily know about how to go about it. So somebody like me with very little experience in real estate, um, they said, hey, Remy, you could do one or two things. You can actually help us get an apartment complex that's willing to partner with your organization, and your organization can partner with us, or we can actually go via, which is subletting. You can do what they call arbitrage, right? So think of the Airbnb concept, right, where you're basically taking real estate and you're providing it for a short-term rental. Short-term basically meaning, under 30 days. You can do a mid to long term rental. Mid-term is usually 60 days, up to 60 days to 90 days. Long term is 90 days plus. So that can lead up to a year to 15 months or longer. So they were willing to say, hey, you can go to a property owner that may have their property for lease, potentially for sale, and see if they're willing to do a long-term leasing agreement. And we're willing to fund whatever that landlord or property owner is willing to charge in advance, so that way we can provide placement for the clients and the demographic that we are willing to serve. Yeah. Yeah.
That is so encouraging, because a lot of people do not realize that they are willing, they need us.
Absolutely.
They need someone that's going to spearhead the project or the program.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
when you first started,
Mm-hmm.
did you have to already have your organization set up, meaning, your paperwork already done? Did you have that already done? Or
To be
were
honest,
you in the process of it?
to be honest with you, I did not have my paperwork or anything like that set up yet. But I would say I'd rather you have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
Oh, goodness.
I was
That's
just brand new. I was a new father at the time. I'm literally coming in, bootstrapping it. But the thing about it was my position was so compelling. They allowed me time to get my paperwork in order, so that way that I could show credibility. That
right.
way I can show that, okay, but what I did come in with, I will say this, come in with a plan. Don't
Yes.
come in talking like this is what I'm trying to do. Come in with, this is what I need to do. This is what I have in place. And I know that if you allow me to partner with said organization or with your office or with the county or with the district, we can actually be a great asset to the community. Don't you know they are willing to spearhead you? Because first and foremost, how many people is willing to partner up with a city official to do their job.
Huh.
That part. How many people
Yes.
are literally willing to do the groundwork to lay the foundation? Because think about it. Look how more credibility you would be, how credible, excuse me, you would be if you're partnering up with a city official doing the work and they're giving you the resources that you need. Because that's what you're saying. You're saying, hey, I want to be an asset because I see a need, right? Instead of me complaining about it, going to all these different, city council meetings and saying what they need to do, what if I do it and you help fund my program or my initiative to do so? You think they won't back that up? They'll absolutely back it up because guess what? They want to remain in office as long as possible.
Yes.
Right? So if you're saying, hey, I have an initiative or I have a big project that I'm working on to better serve the needs of this community, to fight against the housing disparity in our area, in our city, in our community. And anybody can do this, y'all. Anybody. Don't think that it takes a special person to do it. I was just basically willing. I had a willing heart. I saw the needs. I got pointed into some of the right organizations that had the funding, that was willing to partner. And guess what? Not only do these organizations have the funding, but they have the resources to other organizations. So that can be Meals on Wheels. That can be like Home Depot and Walmart, where they can donate materials and furniture. So you not only can you get property, but you can also get all the equipment and all the materials you need to make this property a sustainable place of refuge for these individuals that you're trying to house.
So wait, so you said Home Depot, that really piqued my interest.
Yes,
so what
ma'am.
you're saying is you don't have to be a 501c3 to get help from these organizations?
To be honest with you, no. 501c3 looks great. And for those that don't know what a 501c3 is, that is a nonprofit. But the thing about it is there's so many, and think about it this way. How many ministries are out there doing the community outreach? I'm big on partnerships. I'm huge on collaborations. So, you know how many ministries would love to give and serve? You know how many different organizations would love to donate? Because guess what? That may be a tax write-off for them, or that may be a donation for them that they can contribute towards your initiative, right? So I know organizations that is sitting on a warehouse full of furniture, materials, equipment that they get on a monthly basis, but don't know what to do with it. So they have to liquidate it by just giving it away. Well, why not be a benefactor of that? Right? Be a benefactor of that. So what my position is called when I partner with these organizations is basically a third-party housing vending service or providing service. Okay, I'm a third-party housing provider, and so these are organizations that may have placement, but they don't have housing for that placement. So they will help their clients get placed, but where are they going? And who's going to streamline that process? That's where somebody like you and I can come in and say, hey, we have a foundation that can assist with this process to make it a lot more easier because I'm already acquiring property anyway. You see what we do there? Now you have a relationship with said organization.
Mm-hmm.
You're also helping the property owner have income, and you're providing housing for those in need. So it's literally a win-win-win situation.
Tell us about findhelp.org.
Oh, I see. Oh, she pulled it out, y'all. She pulled it out, y'all.
Wait, okay, this family. Is where we are going. Tell the people the process.
Okay, so we giving out the sauce today. That's right.
Sauce. That's what we do here.
That's
LifeStyle
what we do.
Mastery gives out the sauce. Talk about it.
Yes, do it. Okay, so going back to the Chamber of Commerce, the Chamber of Commerce redirected me to, and since I'm here in Texas, they pointed me into the direction of an organization called the Texas Homeless Network. The Texas Homeless Network is basically a huge organization, statewide organization, where they have accesses to resources, obviously statewide. Now, if you're local to your municipality, state, county, wherever you are, when you call your organization in your city, in your county, what happens is they're going to point you toward a database, a link with all the databases of resources in your area. Findhelp.org in particular is a website or a link that you can actually go and type in your zip code to your area, to the area that you live in. When you click on the zip code, you're going to press search, and it's going to tell you about the thousands and thousands of programs that are in your area, right? Then it's going to list them off by category. It's going to say like housing, money, law services, transportation, and whatever services are associated. Me personally, since my purpose was for housing, I clicked on the housing tab in the top left corner. You click on the housing tab in the top left corner. Then what it's going to do is it's going to give you a list of different housing options depending on the situation. So whether you're looking for rental assistance, you're looking for housing advice or housing assistance, you're trying to qualify for housing, or you can do temporary shelters or residential housing services. When you click on either one of those two last tabs, those particular two tabs will guide you to long-term housing, short-term housing. It'll guide you toward temporary shelters, where if you're looking for some type of shelter or placement, these are organizations that are connected to this website, to the findhelp.org, to where you can literally find the help that you need. If you're trying, as a provider, if you're trying to provide housing services, this is what you do. You go to those last two tabs, and guess what you do? You basically just give them a call, because it's going to give you a list. So you just look for the organization that you want to serve, or that aligns with your values. So if you want to help women, you want to help battered women, families in crisis, women that are leaving sex trafficking, military women, veterans, our seniors, whatever demographic that you want to help. There's a whole list of different programs that you can reach out to. Then you just basically call them, give them a call. Hey, how you doing? My name is Remy Jules of Elect Housing Solutions. I'm the program manager, and I want to see how I can better serve the needs of your organization. We are a third-party housing service, and I see that you guys provide housing as well. Is there an opportunity for me to connect with your caseworker or case manager in regards to a potential partnership or collaboration, something to that effect? And that's just off the top of my head, right? Some people want a script. Some people think you need a script. Not necessarily, but you're just basically trying to get a hold of the social worker or caseworker of that program, so that way you can better serve the needs of them, or better serve the needs of their people. And when you're working in partnership or in collaboration to that effect, it just leads to an endless possibility. That's literally, anybody can do this, y'all. Anybody can do this. Findhelp.org. Put in your zip code. Once you put in your zip code, it's going to release the number of organizations in your area. Then you click on the housing tab, and you just go through that list of different housing providing services and how you can actually make a difference in your community today.
So, that's so good. That is so good. You just laid down the groundwork for every single step. So now when these people get on the phone with you and they say, okay, yes, I want a partner, then what does that look like?
So when they say they want a partner, of course they want to hear a little bit more about your initiative, right? They want to hear a little bit more about your foundation. They want to know, one, if your values and your morals align with theirs. What resources do you provide? Are there any like workforce programs that you're looking to partner with or anything like that? Me particularly, I just came in as to support the housing need. So I said, hey, I am looking to partner with you because I see that you guys are in need of housing. Now, 9 times out of 10, they'll say, oh my goodness. So let me give you my testimony real quick.
Please.
So my testimony goes a little something like this. So back in September, I called an organization called Front Steps. Just a call. Hey, my name is Remy, Housing Initiative. I go through the whole spiel, right? The caseworker says, Remy, where have you been? You are a godsend. Don't you know that we have been looking for housing providers or property owners and managers that's willing to assist us with the housing need? She's like, we had a $10 million grant and we lost it because we could not find anybody to support the need.
No.
I said, so what do you have now? She's like, well, we're right in the process. She said, we just got a $3 million grant, but we have to meet our housing goals. You can help us reach our housing goals. She said, we hope that we can do a long-term partnership. This is the first time I called. I didn't have to call a multitude of different times. I called one organization, and this lady said, yes. Before she knew about me, I didn't have a website. I didn't have a brochure. I just shared with her my heart. And I told her that I had access to properties. She said, when can we get started?
Now, what does that look like? Okay, let's go there.
Let's go there. Okay, let's go there. So when she says let's get started, that basically means when can we set aside a time to meet, to talk about, one, where your property is located, two, what kind of house is it? Is it a 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom? What kind of demographic are you trying to serve? Like women? Are you trying to serve men? Are you trying to do like a mixed house situation where it's half women, half men? Do you care about men that have records? Do you care about men that are trying to recover from drug and alcoholic abuse? Like, what does that look like? What is that? So I basically told her, like, I just want to serve your need, whatever the need is, right? And then I did mention numbers. Okay, now that's important.
Okay.
In order to get it, if we're helping these women get into real estate, they need to know their numbers. And what I mean by that is, and let's break it down. Let's do something. Let's do some real simple math. Okay.
Okay.
So let's get down to talking about the demographics. So if we're saying we want to help homeless men or homeless women, right? I don't like to house women with children because that could be a liability, right? Okay. The last thing you want is a woman with a child that may not have the best relationship with the child. And if you're housing other women in that home, they may get access to things that they shouldn't get access to, playing with plugs, like the house is not safe proof, child proof or anything like that. Okay. So you'll be held responsible. But I like to help women or men that are normally tend to be single, or if they do have children, the children is with the family that's kind of going through like a custody situation, so that way that they can show that they have some type of stability in order for them to get their children back. Okay. So let's kind of pivot a little bit back toward the numbers. Now, let's just say, depending on the market, and I'm just going to use just these numbers just for the sake of conversation. Okay. So let's just say in my market in Austin, the average mortgage or rent out this way is around $2,000 a month. Mm-hmm. So I do an agreement with the property owner, and this is for those that don't own property. Okay. So if you don't own any property, you can actually establish an agreement. Okay, the property owner is saying, hey, I want $2,000 up front. I want first and last month's rent. All you need to do is go to that organization once they are ready to do the partnership with you. Let them know, hey, in order for to solidify placement for your clients and for your residents, I'm going to need first and last month's rent up front, around $2,000. Well, that's $4,000. Guess what they'll do? They'll cut that check for you, and then you just transfer that initial check from the organization, and you just give it to the property owner. So now that didn't cost you any money just to obtain the property. Okay. Now let's break it down even further. Now let's talk about bedrooms in the mortgage. Okay. So if the rent is $2,000 a month and you have a 4-bedroom property, right? That's $500 per room. Correct?
Correct.
So now let's talk about the need of housing. So if the woman says, hey, I have 8 people that need housing, right? Well, now you can actually split the rooms into beds. So you can actually do 2 beds per room, right? So now let's break that down. So $2,000.
Mm-hmm.
Now divide that by 4, that's $500, right? So then now we're going to divide the beds by 2. That's $250 a piece. So that should be the standard fee to get inside. That's how you would normally calculate. Now just add in whatever your fee is as a provider. You can add in utilities, all these other different things, whatever that amount is. So let's just say that comes out to about another $300 to $400.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're looking at anywhere between $600 to $750. That's only $25 a day. So you're literally saying, hey, for $25 a day, I can help you find placement. I can help your organization house your resident.
So you talked about how the check went from the organization to the actual person with the house. How do you get paid though?
So we get paid by the fee of the bed. Now, see, if you remember when I broke down the bed fee, I said $500 per room. Then you
Right.
divide that by 2. Then what is your fee for providing the service? Aha, right? So whatever
Right.
your fee is, so that could be $250. So now that's $500 a bed. Then add in utilities, so that could be an additional $200.
So are you
Now,
going back to that original person that's cutting the check and telling them that?
correct.
So instead of saying that they only needed the $2,000, $4,000, you're adding your fee on top of that and then letting them know that is what we need to get started.
Absolutely. So now you so the conversation is really more about how can you get compensated for your time, because as much as your heart is to serve the needs of these people,
Yes.
you can't, you have to make some money. You have to be able to serve them. It takes money to take care of these individuals, right?
That's right. Yeah.
And you want to have a really good relationship, because at the end of the day, these property owners, as much as they're willing to maybe utilize their properties for situations like this, they have property taxes, they have, they even have risk, so it's like, what can you do to mitigate that risk as much as possible? If you're saying, hey, I'm willing to be a property manager and also a program manager by connecting with another said organization to bring people in your home, and I'm managing it, well, that's not free. Right? So you should put yourself in a position to where you should always add your fee. How much would you charge for your own time? Right? So that's what I like to do in situations like that. In certain areas, you can actually add certain incentives, right? Certain areas have certain incentives, like, some people add Wi-Fi. Some people will include adult daycare, which is like they'll intentionally have people come over by the house and do some type of specialized service or development skill set with them, right? Some people will actually do the traveling and stuff. Now that's on the more of the licensing side. I'm really more teaching you from the perspective of the unlicensed side, where you're just strictly providing housing. That's it. Now we can get deeper into that portion of it and that component of it, but we'll save that for another for another stream or another episode. But at this particular point in time, if you are in a position right now, to all my hardworking mothers out there and ladies out there that's willing to get started, that's looking to get started, sublease a property with an organization so that it doesn't cost you any money. Then let's start looking for organizations to help you find furniture, right? One of my favorite places to call are hotels and motels. Guess what? They're always going through management shifts and changes. They're getting rid of that furniture. Another place, a really good, I'm going to give y'all the sauce here. This is a gem because I love Dr. Sheila. Call your local storage unit.
Ooh.
Call your local storage unit. You need to call your local storage unit, because guess what? You know how many people default on their storage and they need to get rid of all that furniture? They'll let you have it. They'll just say, hey, come pick it up. Right? And then Habitat for Humanity, Goodwill, they're always giving away stuff. Right? Sometimes they don't have the room. They'll allow you to take it for a little. And also Facebook Marketplace. There's a section in Facebook Marketplace that says freebies. You know? So, and of course, you know, clean this furniture. Don't just take it and put it in the house, but, you know, do your due diligence, clean this house, and then make it a suitable environment for these people that you're trying to take care of in house. And a lot of times, 9 times out of 10, these organizations will come and inspect the property. They'll come and look at the property and like, oh, I like what you did here. This looks really nice. Yeah. I was going to say something real quick. One more thing. Some organizations are so desperate, they don't even care about looking at the property. They just need to get them housed. So, but what I want to encourage anybody, if anybody's looking to get into the shared living, co-living space, independent living space, have your list of organizations first before you go for the property. Because the last thing you want to do is get a property first, but you don't have no relationships with no organizations, and now you're stuck with rent that you have to pay. You don't want to be stuck, especially if you've already gotten laid off or in a financial, you know, constraint situation. Create a nice pipeline of organizations that are willing and ready to work with you, that have the funding to support what you're trying to do. Then as soon as you get that property, let them know, hey, I got a property ready to go, but to solidify placement, this is what I need up front financially. They have it, and they're willing to do it. They're willing to work with you.
How do you choose the people that you want to place in your properties? I'm just saying. You know what I'm doing this off of? I am truly interested in this myself. Absolutely. So I'm asking you questions that I know people are wondering. How do you choose?
Ooh, Dr. Sheila, you getting me from a sauce today, but it's all right.
I'm just saying, this is for the people. This is for the people.
I'm happy to share this information because this is not my own information. I had to learn it, and this is for all my hardworking people out there, my women out there that's really trying to take care of their families and break generational curses when it comes to poverty and just the poverty mindset. But 9 times out of 10, just to even be accepted into these organizations, they initially do the screening. So they'll tell you, this person has this kind of background, this person struggles with this person comes from this. And what they're willing to do is they'll do the extensive screening for you. Now, when it comes to who you choose to accept into your home or into your property, just like a regular job, they interview you, right? So they'll say, hey, I have John Smith and I want to introduce you to him. So you just set aside a Zoom time. But what I like to do is I actually have a pre-screen document, like a survey that they have to take to kind of know a little bit more about them. You know, if they're on any medications, how much medication do they take? What is the reason why they're being, why they need placement in the first place? Just a little bit about their background so I can kind of understand, because it does matter. The last thing I don't want to put somebody that's a RSO, which is a registered sex offender, with somebody that got out of prison and may have a problem with a registered sex offender. You just don't do that, right? So you kind of want to put people that situations kind of align, so that way they can identify with one another, and then 2, they could be a support system for one another as they're both trying to make the transition into regular society. Okay, so my process is more, I like to screen them, as anybody should. Always do your research, and because you are a third-party housing advisor, just like with any housing process, do a background check. Do a background check. You have access. The caseworkers and case managers, they have access to their files. They have access to their background, and you can access that information. It's not a violation of HIPAA whatsoever, because you need to know who you're working with, who you're allowing, and in the environment that you're putting them in. That matters, right?
Wow.
So, and they'll tell you, hey, I have somebody that struggles with mental health. I have somebody that's schizophrenic. Do you serve that population? Are you okay with serving that population? Do you think that you would be comfortable enough to manage somebody with that kind of background? And you have every right to say no. Okay, don't just be money motivated, because that could
Right.
be your biggest downfall. As soon as those dollar signs get big, they may be worth that. You don't want to be paying for the headache, right? You don't
Hmm.
want that. You don't like, oh yeah, that's a $10,000 person. But what if that $10,000 person is $10,000 worth of problems?
True. That's powerful.
Come on now.
That's powerful.
I know we are in a financial stringent situation, but please do it with wisdom. Okay? All money is not good money. That's
That's
why I
true.
say it's important to align with organizations that line up with your values. Okay? And make sure that the caseworkers that you are working with, they do their due diligence. If they're violent, ask them if they're violent. If they have this kind, whatever background, find out what comes. What do they deal with? Do they have therapy? Do they have nursing? Will I have to set aside time or give for their nurse to come by and give them medication and things of that nature. Now, personally, I like high functioning independent individuals. Okay, so these people are very independent, so they can go to work, they can work for themselves. They just may have fell on hard times to where they needed an organization to help them get placed. That's it. So I would advise the in your first time around, as least maintenance as possible. For somebody that's looking to come in, maybe seniors, right?
Mhm.
Maybe seniors may be good. Uh, People that are going through marriage transition, like divorcees, that may be a good one too.
Okay.
Women that are leaving battered situations or domestic abuse, that could be potentially it with other women. Um, let's see what else. Oh, here's two that a lot of people don't think about:
Okay.
students, foreign exchange students, and
Mm.
immigrants.
Wow. So would foreign exchange students and immigrants, would they be a part of, like, are they going to these organizations to get help, or do you have to seek them out in different areas to
So
find
with
them?
foreign exchange students in particular, um, a lot of these students are through the college and universities educational systems. So a lot of the times they have scholarships and programs that they're really trying to
Hmm.
assist these specific demographic groups. So you can actually call the college and university and say, "Hey, I have housing for." Um, for some students. Do you actually have any students that actually need housing? Because a lot of that is coming out of the so let's backtrack a little bit.
Yes.
Did you know there's not enough student housing, period, point blank.
Hmm.
So they're putting kids in hotels and motels until they can actually figure out exactly what to do until they get enough housing built. So what that allows is for you to come in as a third party housing providing service, calling that university and calling their housing department to say, hey, I actually have a property this many miles away or this many feet away from the school, and I would love the opportunity to house some of your students. Now, these students are in a shared housing environment anyway, right? So it wouldn't be nothing for them to share a room or share a bathroom or share a kitchen area or a
Yeah.
lounging space. So that's a really good way to get started as well. On the immigrant side, when it's foreign exchange students, now a lot of times they do give priority to the foreign exchange students because they're coming the furthest, right? And
Right.
these colleges don't want a bad reputation when it comes to basically being a host country.
Yeah.
So if you call that dormitory organization or that school organization that deals with housing, you let them know, hey, we can actually take in some of your, if you have any foreign exchange students, you could deal with them directly. And then you can also call, like, I like to call, me personally, when it comes to immigrants, I like to call a lot of construction jobs, because a lot of these immigrants that come here, um, they still don't have housing. So a lot of these construction sites have to, guess what? They have to pay for housing. They have to pay for placement. So if I partner up with That's a whole nother layer right there. That's a whole nother layer, Dr. Sheila. But these are just very strategic ways and creative ways and they pay on time. So you know where their money's coming from. That's another thing too. They already are working, right? So therefore they're contracted through these construction sites or these construction companies. And, they're already here on work visas, right? So until they actually become legal citizens, they need placement.
I'm smiling because that's an area I've never heard before. So I'm like, my mind is like spinning.
Yeah.
But what I do want you to talk about, and this is my favorite portion, I have a lot of love for veterans because of the fact, I'm getting ready to go there. I have love for veterans because they're treated so terribly. And they are the ones that not only pursue our freedoms, but they maintain our freedoms. And so I just want to say that, it is very important for us to make sure that we take care of them. Very important that we take care of them. And so I want to say thank you, Remy Jules, for being here today. Thank you so much for the time that you've taken to care about the people that I love, and that is women, so that we can propel into our purpose and do what we are placed here to do, is to fulfill the call that we have upon our lives. So thank you, Remy. I want you all to go to electhousingsolutions.org to find out more about what he's doing. He is someone that has a love for teaching and will teach you just how to do what he does. So this is Dr. Sheila Smith. I'm so grateful that you joined us on yet another episode of Lifestyle Mastery. You had choices. You did not have to be here, and I'm grateful that you did. So join us next time, where we are going to teach you how to be able to be successful and purposeful in your life. So we look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you so much for being here. Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us on Lifestyle Mastery with Dr. Sheila Smith. We hope that the insights, tips, and tools shared in this episode have inspired and empowered you to take control of your personal and professional life. Remember, personal development and entrepreneurship are a journey, and we're here to support you every step of the way. Keep applying the strategies and techniques you've learned, and never stop striving for your dreams. We'd love to hear from you. Please share your feedback and success stories on our website or social media platforms. And don't forget to subscribe to Lifestyle Mastery for even more expert insights and inspiration. Thanks again for being a part of our community. We look forward to continuing this journey of growth and success with you. And we'll see you again on our next episode.